Okay, this video is about the ideal setup for the hawk sky. Now, you've seen this flight, the hawk sky, the wild hawk, there's the easy star, the happy sky. I mean, there's so many of these planes now, and they're all slightly different, meaning one is rudder and elevator, one is elevator and ailerons, one's a brushed one, one's 2.4, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on. They're all pretty much the same plane. Now, we've also tried them with two motors, we've cut the wings down. We've hot rodded them, putting super speed motors on them, putting large control surfaces on them. So this is to say, here's what we found is 90-10. This is 90% of the best results for only 10% of the work. The Hawk Sky has ailerons, elevator, and rudder. And that's what you really want. You want to have factory installed ailerons. Now the Hawk Sky's factory installed ailerons, they're a little small. I mean, they're not super wide, but they run the length of the wing, which is nice. And they don't go all the way to the wingtip, so if you set them up as flaps, they don't stall your wingtip. So they're good. Now, of course, you can put larger ones on there. You can extend them out. You can cut into the wing. But see, now you're emailing me 100 questions asking how to do that step by step. And yes, it'll make the plane fly better, but not a whole lot better. This will still make the plane do rolls, still act as flaps. Just leave them as is. Same with the rear control surfaces of the Hawk Sky. It's got a pretty decent elevator and a pretty decent rudder. I mean, it definitely hammers the plane around just fine. You can do loops, hammerhead, stalls, all that kind of stuff. So you don't really need to add extra control surfaces if you don't want to or don't know how to. Just leave it alone. Same thing, over time, do reinforce with a little bit of packing tape just to keep your control surfaces from flying off the plane. One modification that I always end up having to do is, of course, these guys, they got to do something wrong, right? So they have these long tubey wire control surface, push rod things. Because it's this long tube, it's almost like a string, where it's very strong on the pull, very weak on the push, right? Okay, so on your elevator, what's more important, going up or going down? Well, I don't need any help going down. I need some help going up. So by taking the push rod tube thing mobile and putting it on the top of the elevator, which looks very ugly and is now in sight, which is why they put it on the bottom, just hide it so it looks better, so you'll buy it. Put it on the top because now it's going to pull that elevator up, get more elevator throw out of that smaller elevator, and have a softer throw going down, which is going to work out a lot better. Then with the rudder, I did kind of the same general idea. I just lined up that tube a little bit better so it's getting maximum throw and pull and push from that linkage there with as little binding up as possible. Now the servos they come with, I think on ours we have the same stock aileron servos. Now those cheap servos they come in there, they're eventually going to go out, probably because I'm going to be crashing and I strip the gears out. But this plane will fly off of one aileron. But for the beginner, what I recommend is just leave the stock servos as is and fly them until they finally break. Then when they break, that's when you upgrade them, right? Now, the motor on the Hawk Sky is brushless, and it will move the plane as fast as it'll go before you start having some structural issues. And what does that mean? The tail of the Hawk Sky is like a wet fish. Right back towards the end, it gets real thin with the foam. And when you have all that power coming from the prop wash, plus all that speed, your back tail will start to flutter or twist. I'm talking, it's got to get going pretty fast though. The stock motor really can't get it up that fast unless you're going into a dive, and then only for a second. But when you eventually upgrade the motor, when your stock $10 motor finally burns out, you really want to upgrade it with the Microjet version 3 motor. Now that motor will push this plane really fast. And in fact, if you go full throttle with the wind, slightly downhill, you can get this plane to start to shake apart. Or just not shake apart, it starts to vibrate. See, that's where in the past we just loaded up with carbon. We put carbon in the tail and the wings and all that kind of stuff. If you're pushing past that efficient barrier where you have to go 10 miles an hour faster, then yeah, you got to buy a bunch of carbon and a bunch of work and load this thing up. But I'm finding, you know what, 90-10. Just go 90% that fast without all that work effort. That's what we recommend after coming full circle over the years, trying every different possible combination. That is the Hawksky. They have them at nitroplanes.com as well as graysonhobby.com. If you get it from Grayson, you can also get that microjet motor combo if everything's in stock. So look for that as well. All right, bye.